Okay, so we start now. So now we see about EBS, elastic block storage. So think it's like a hard disk you attach to your EC2 instance. So EBS volumes, so the volumes are virtual hard disks. Okay, EBS volume is block-based storage. Okay, means where you create partition and format, and then you write data or read the data. Okay, you can install operating system databases. So you can have static data and dynamic data on EBS volume. So it is different from S3 storage. Whereas S3 is object-based storage where you can have only static data. So anyhow, about S3, we have separate session in detail. So when you create EBS volume, it's placed in a specific availability zone. Okay, so means EBS volume is data center specific. If somehow data center fails, your EBS volume will be gone. Okay, to avoid data loss, so what you can do, so you can keep backup copies. Okay, you make a backup of your EBS volume data frequently. Okay, when you make backup of EBS volume, it's stored in S3 storage. Okay, basically when you are writing data to S3 storage, it's written to multiple data centers within region. Actually, it writes data to 3 facilities, means 3 data centers. So that's why S3 is high available and durable storage. But you cannot use S3 to have operating system data, your application data. So where your application type is dynamic application, means where your operating system files keep changing. Okay, your application files keep changing. For those kind of scenarios, you cannot have S3 storage. So that's why you cannot install operating system to S3 storage. So coming to EBS volume, so it automatically replicated within the availability zone to protect from failover. Means when you are writing the data, behind scene AWS will be writing data to multiple hardwares, but within availability zone. So here EBS offers 99.999 availability and annual failure rate about 0.1% to 0.2%. You can easily scale to petabyte of data while provisioning a base volume. You can start with like a minimum 1 GB to up to petabytes of data. You can attach volume to EC2 instances belonging to same availability zone. As we see, EBS volume is agent specific, means data center specific. You can attach it to same server which exists in local availability zone. Okay, to detach a volume from EC2 instance, so you have to unmount it first from operating system. So when we call root volume, means EBS root volume is the first hard disk where your operating system is installed and used as boot drive. So coming to EBS volume, so you have different EBS volume types like magnetic drives and solid state drive. So magnetic drive means it's like a hard disk. Within that hard disk, we have magnetic plates. Okay, coming to solid state drive, within hard disk, instead of using magnetic plates, so there will be chips. Okay, memory chips. Okay, so basic difference is compared to magnetic drive, SSD drive provides faster performance. Again, is this category having different classes? When you go with like general purpose SSD, okay, and it provides minimum 3 IOPS per GB data, okay, and which gives balance between price and performance. Okay, here you get minimum 3 IOPS. Okay, what is mean by IOPS here? That means in a given second, how much read and write can take place. Okay, so let's see what is the value for that one IOPS. So you can click on this link.
So can you explain what is static data and dynamic data?
Say static data means you write data to storage and data will be there as it is. So what you can do with the data, you can download the data, or you can copy the data to other location. Okay, but you cannot directly open it and modify it and save it back. So that kind of facility called as static. Dynamic means, so once you write the data, you can directly open the data file and you can modify it and save it back directly. So that kind of thing can be called as dynamic.
So S3 is a static data thing, right?
Yeah, S3 is static storage.
Static store.
Coming to EBS is static and dynamic.
Okay.
Like for example, you take your hard disk. So within hard disk, you have file. Let's say you retain some file, you can directly open it and modify it and save it back. But in case S3, you can't do. You can write data to S3, but you cannot directly open the file and modify directly and save it back. What you can do, you can download file from S3, then modify it, and you can upload it back, which is going to overwrite the existing file.
And you said that OS cannot be installed on EBS, right?
No. See, OS you can install on a storage which provides dynamic storage facility.
Okay.
Yeah, where EBS provides static storage facility and dynamic storage facility.
Okay. So in S3 you cannot install OS basically.
Yeah, in S3 you cannot install OS.
Okay, got it.
Because when operating system running, so your operating system files keep changing, right?
Right.
Yeah, like log files, memory files, CPU files, which will be keep changing. Yeah, so when you go for S3, it does not allow you to directly modify the files there.
Okay, got it, sir. Thank you.
So let's see what is the IOPS value here. Let's see where is that value. This is the minimum IOPS you get, 3 IOPS. I'm looking about what is IOPS value in a second. Currently, they did little modification to this documentation. Here it is. Okay, it's about 16 kilobytes of data. Okay, so IOPS means here how they are going to calculate. So IOPS represent how much data read write can take place in a second. Okay, one IOPS is equal to 16 kilobytes of data. In case SSD storage, when you talk about IOPS for magnetic storage, it's about 1 megabyte data. So these are the two different classes, like solid state drive, general purpose SSD, provisional IOPS, where one IOPS is equal to 16 kilobyte. When you go for magnetic hard disk, we have two categories like throughput optimizer, cold hard disk drive. So one IOPS is equal to 1 megabyte of data read or write in a given second.
So, sir, another query which I had is so when you decide when you go for SSD or magnetic drives?
Yeah, we'll come to that point. So coming to SSD, so you have general purpose SSD. So where you get minimum 3 IOPS per GB data. Okay, but that can go up to 3000 IOPS. If you are running that general purpose SSD for longer time, okay, it can go up to 3000 IOPS per GB data. Okay, anyhow, there is no guaranteed, but anyhow, you get minimum 3 IOPS per GB data performance. Okay, that means you can write it like 16 into 3, 48 kilobytes of data in a second per GB data. Okay, coming to provisional SSD. So here you can specify how much IOPS you want. Like when you want more IOPS, when you want like more read-write operation per second, then you can select provisional SSD storage. Okay, it can go up to 32,000 IOPS, but can also go up to 64,000 IOPS for network-based EC2 instances. Okay, means when you are working with provisional SSD, so you can provide how much IOPS you want. Okay, for normal EC2 instances, it can go up to 32,000 IOPS, but if you are launching network-based EC2 instance, it can go up to 64,000 IOPS. Okay, so overall, so it provides maximum 1,000 megabytes per second of throughput. Okay, so here SSD performance, okay, how fast it works, how fast it can do read write. It's calculated based on measuring value, which is IOPS. Okay, coming to magnetic drives, so there are 3 categories again, like throughput optimizer ST1. Okay, so you can use it when required for data written in sequence, like a big data, data warehouse, log processing, but you cannot use it as boot volume, but it can achieve up to 500 IOPS. Coming to cold hard disk drive, which provides up to 250 IOPS. Okay, suitable for scenario where data is not frequently accessed. Like example, file servers, okay, cannot be used as boot volume. Again, you have magnetic standard hard disk, so where they do not give any performance guarantee. You get whatever available. Which is cheapest bootable EBS volume or data volume, used for application where data is less frequently accessed and low cost is important. Like you have testing environment. Okay, in that kind of scenario, you can make use of magnetic standard. Okay, now which one to choose? Okay, so let's say you have low budget. Okay, you are okay with lowest performance, then you can go with magnetic standard. Okay, you can afford some more budget, you want some more performance, you can go for magnetic cold hard disk drive. You can afford some more budget, you want some more good performance, then you can go for throughput optimizer hard disk. Okay, okay, next level, it's okay, you can afford some more budget, you want some more good performance, you can go with general purpose SSD. Now you are fine with the budget and you want good performance, then you go for provisional SSD. Okay, so basically here magnetic is slower than SSD. Again, we have different classes within each category. Like SSD, we have general purpose SSD and provisional SSD. In magnetic, there is a throughput optimizer, cold hard disk drive, magnetic hard disk, right? Like that. Okay, so based on your requirement, go and select which EBS volume you want. Understood. And overall, we can see when you look at that documentation, and volume size you see, like general purpose SSD, okay, minimum volume size will be 1 GB, maximum 16 terabyte. Okay, provisional SSD, provisional IOPS SSD, minimum 4 GB, maximum 16 terabyte. When you go for like a throughput optimized magnetic hard disk drive, so it's about 500 GB to 16 terabyte, and the cold hard disk drive is minimum 500 GB, 16 terabyte. And we see the performance, the maximum how much IOPS you get per volume basis. Okay, since the value got changed for general purpose SSD. So right now it's about 16,000 IOPS. Okay. $16,000, where it was previously 3,000 IOPS only. Okay, let's set it to 16,000 IOPS. And maximum throughput. So each of these hard disks will be limited to like a general purpose SSD. It's maximum 250 megabytes per second, and provisional SSD, okay, 1,000 megabytes per second. whereas this one throughput optimized magnetic hard disk drive about 500 megabytes and cold hard disk drive 250 megabytes. And overall per instance, when you attach like a multiple EBS volume, so maximum IOPS will be about 80,000. Let's say you attach multiple hard disks, no matter, they are all same category or maybe different category, like a magnetic throughput optimizer, magnetic cold hard disk, or maybe provisional IOPS SSD or general purpose SSD, you attach to EC2 instance. So maximum IOPS you get is limited over here. Again, performance also limited based on your EC2 instance type as well. Okay, for example, let's say maybe you created like a 2 EBS volume. Let's say you choose the option which is general, sorry, not general purpose. Let's say provisional IOPS SSD. Maybe let's say you set like 30,000 IOPS, 30,000 IOPS per EBS volume. But when you attach those 2 EBS volume to one EC2 instance, so how much IOPS you are expecting? 30,000 IOPS plus 30,000 IOPS. Total 60,000 IOPS. But performance again depend on your EC2 instance. It doesn't mean you are going to get 60,000 IOPS. Okay, it also limited by the EC2 instance type. So when you look at yeah, you can consider processor or computer capacity. So when you look at instance type, let's say AWS EC2 instance types. Basic. For example, if you are looking at general purpose SSD, let's look at the category A1. Okay, so here it doesn't show any performance limitation. So you get whatever available with EBS volume. But when you go for a certain EC2 instances, you can see the limitation. Let's look at the T3. So it's not showing any limitation regarding storage. Okay, let's go to compute optimizer, for example, C5 series. And here we can look see EBS bandwidth. So for example, if you're looking at C5 large, you see you get up to 4,750 megabytes. And if you look at C5 9x large, you see up to 9,500 megabytes. Okay, anyhow, you don't need to remember all this value just for information purpose. Okay, so here understand the the different type of EBS volumes we have, which are SSD and magnetic drives and the related performance. Okay, you are not compromised with budget and you want good performance, then we'll go with provisional SSD IOPS. Okay, you are with low budget, it's okay if performance is bad. Okay, because you may be running it in testing environment, then you can go with magnetic standard storage. Okay, you want balance between price and performance, then you can go with general purpose SSD. Okay, or you can go with throughput optimizer. Okay, where if you want to host like a data warehouse, small data warehouse, okay, those kind of scenarios. And if you want to host a server where data accessed infrequently, no matter you write data or read the data, then you can go with cold hard disk. Okay, so now let's launch a couple of EC2 instances. Okay, so let's log in into AWS Management Console and we launch a couple of EC2 instances, one Windows machine and one Linux machine. Let's say how we can provision EBS volumes and how we can mount, unmount, and we also see about encryption and also see about backup and restore. Since connectivity is bad, let me check internet speed. Hmm. Mhm. So you access Linux machine using SSH protocol, right? So SSH can be authenticated using either username and password or username and key. So whatever the default authentication method we have in AWS is username and key based authentication. Once you make login, if you want to change, okay, like you want to change SSH authentication to using user mode and password, you can do for the Linux only. Mhm. No, no. Almost every region will provide all services, but there are some regions which may not provide some services, like new services adding by AWS. Okay, they start with one region. They span that service available to multiple regions. Okay, let's launch one Windows instance and Linux instance. So go with Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Let's say it is T2 Micro. So number of instances 1. Let's place it in VPC main network 1 and subnet is subnet 1. Let's auto assign a public IP address. Now let's go with the rest of the default settings. We will see root volume, the EBS root volume. That is the first hard disk attached into our Linux server. Okay, if you want to turn on encryption, you can encrypt it. It's take a minimum TGB. That's minimum recommended for EBS root volume for Linux machine. So you can provision up to 16 terabyte. A single EBS volume will be up to 16 terabyte. So next, security group. So let it security group name is launch widget 2, which is allowing SSH, review, and launch. I go with existing key pair. Let's say this is going to be Linux.
Yeah,
One.
is this Linux instance?
Yes.
Linux. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Let's say this is let's give name, let's say RH1, Red Hat Server 1. Let's launch a Windows instance. Okay, I go with Windows Server 2019. So we see it's free tier eligible. Okay, coming to instance. Okay, you can launch it on T2 micro, that's fine. You get one CPU core, 1 GB RAM, but it's going to take the time to boot and it will be somewhat slow when you are accessing it. So I go with the T2 medium server.
So would there be any cost for this?
Yes, because it's not falling under free tier. See, the T2 micro only falls under free tier. Okay, so as I'm selecting T2 medium, okay, there will be price for the EC2 instance.
Okay. So once this is up and we check this, then you will, you know, detach that EC2 instance, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's place this EC2 instance subnet to let's auto assign a public IP address. Then we see the minimum. Okay, first hard disk size it's taking 30 GB. Okay, let it and click on next tags, then security group, review and launch. So let's see which key I have. Let me check, do I have that MS key? Okay, there it is. Okay, let's say it is MS1. Okay, so now we have two servers. Okay, now let's go to EBS volumes. So in EC2 console itself, you go to Elastic Block Store. There you have EBS volume. So we can see there we have two EBS volume. One belongs to that Red Hat machine, another belongs to Microsoft server. We see this is the 10 GB hard disk, and we can see associated with RH1 server. Next, we have 30 GB hard disk, which is associated with MS1. Okay, I placed these two servers to different availability zones. See, Linux running in availability zone 1A and Microsoft running in availability zone 1B. Okay, if you want to give general name tag for your hard disk, you can give. Okay, every resource you create will having a unique ID. If you select the resource EBS volume, and we see this is the volume ID, a unique ID for your EBS one. So every resource you create on AWS having a unique ID. So it may be difficult to identify for what purpose you are using that resource. So that's why you have name tags. Okay, let's give name. Let's say this 30 GB belongs to our Microsoft server. I can give name as like MS1 root volume. So when I look at the console or CLI, so I can identify this is the root volume which is attached to Microsoft server. Okay, let's give a name tag for this 10 GB hard disk. Let's say it's going to be RH1 root volume. Okay, if you want to attach additional volumes, so first of all create volume, then you can attach to EC2 instance. So let's navigate to instances. Let's log on to Microsoft server. So let's select it and we copy public IP address and we make RDP connection. So we open remote desktop client, the public IP address and connect. We know the username is administrator. And coming to password, let's go get the default password. So we go to the actions, get Windows password. It's going to ask the private key. So the private key is MS key. Choose the file. So we select MS key, open, decrypt the password, copy it. So once you log in, you can change that password. Okay, so there it is. So now let's have a look at storage inside Windows machine. So what I do, I will open run prompt or command prompt. I type a command disk ngmt.ms. So that's going to open disk management Microsoft console. And here we can see we have only one disk representing as disk 0, which is 30 GB. It's online, and we see it is C. So where our operating system data exists. We open System Explorer. There we can see C drive. It's about 29.9 GB, approximately 30 GB. Yeah. So let's attach some additional hard disk. So I just minimize this RDP window, and we go to EBS volumes. Okay, let's create a couple of hard disks. So here you have category like general purpose. So you can specify the size like 1 to 16,000 GB. Okay, so where you get 3 IOPS per GB minimum, but it can go up to 3,000 IOPS. But as per current documentation, the value changed to 16,000 IOPS. Okay. So what I do, so I will say general purpose SSD, or if you go with like a provisional IOPS SSD, so you get a minimum 100 IOPS, you can specify minimum 100 IOPS up to 64,000 IOPS. And coming to cold hard disk drive, so there is performance is calculated based on the bandwidth availability. See, it's going to provide 6 to 40 megabytes. Okay, and coming to next, throughput optimized hard disk. So see the throughput will be like 20 megabytes to 123 megabytes. And coming to magnetic standard, there is no guarantee for performance. You get whatever available. So I go with general purpose SSD. So let's say it's going to be about, let's say 50 GB. Okay, where I get minimum 3 IOPS per GB. Okay, that means how much GB I'm configuring? 50 GB. So 50 into 3, 150. So I get minimum 150 IOPS and maximum. Okay, this is something confusing. It's still in console, it's showing 3000 IOPS, but documentation shows it is 16,000 IOPS. Let's have a look once more. AWS EBS volume types. Documentation shows 16,000 IOPS. Okay, no problem. Keep it as per the documentation. Okay. Okay, so I get minimum one. So I get like 150 IOPS. It can go up to like 3,000 IOPS or 16,000 IOPS. Maybe they need to replicate changes in this console. Okay, so where our Windows server running? It's running in availability zone 1B. So I'm planning to attach this EBS volume to Windows server. So I need to place that EBS volume inside same availability zone. So I select 1B. Then click on create volume and close. If you want to give general name, you can do. Let's say this is going to be MS1. Let's say data 1 disk or application disk. Okay, for whatever purpose you are creating that volume. Let's create one more volume. You can select this. I want like provisional IOPS or cold hard disk drive, like throughput optimized hard disk drive. You can select different category as well. So let's say it's also going to be, let's say it's going to be 50,000 IOPS. Let's 50 GB. Let's place it in availability zone 1B and click on create volume. Let's say it's going to be MS1 data 2 disk. No. I want to attach it to a Windows machine. So our Windows machine exists in availability zone 1B. So that's why I press it. Yeah. So now what we do, let's attach these two additional EBS volume to our Ec2 instance. So select it and we say attach volume and we select MS1. Okay, don't worry about this device ID when you are dealing with Windows. Click on attach. So if you go to our RDP window, so there we can see additionally attached this. Okay, still it's attaching. Just click on refresh. Not yet. Okay, still it's attaching. So we can see the status is it is in use, means that hard disk is attached to MS1 machine. And we have one more disk which is available. That means it's not attached to any Ec2 instance. There we can see the disk one is available, 50 GB. Let's attach one more disk, which is MS1 data to actions, attach volume. So we go to RDP console. There we see disk 2 available. So you initialize the disk. So I bring it online and initialize the disk. So select choice of partitioning tool like MBR or GPT. So when you go with MBR, there you have limited number of partitions, and MBR supports a hard disk which is up to 2 terabyte. If you have a hard disk more than 2 terabyte size, you have to go with GPT. You want more number of partition, then you can go with GPT. So then what we do, we create a volume. Let's go with a simple volume. Next, let's create a single partition. Next, let's assign drive letter as D. And you choose choice of file system like EXPAD, NTFS, or EFS. On Windows, so either you can choose NTFS or EFS. Click on next, finish. And if you open a System Explorer, I think it's showing taskbar showing from my local machine. Okay, so we go to this PC, there we have our new tab. So you can have your data here, maybe your database, application data, anything. Let me create a test file. Let's say test 101. Let's say this is test file. Save it. So like that, so you can attach any EBS volume, okay, to your Ec2 instance, then provision partitions. Okay, then you can have let your application write the data, or database write the data. You can have any kind of data over there. So anytime you want to detach, to safely detach, what you do, first of all, unmount it from operating system. Let's say, for example, I want to detach this disk, okay, from this MS1 machine. So what I do, I will unmount it first from operating system console. So we go to disk management console. We say unmount means bring offline. Bring it offline. So now this disk is not available to our operating system. So what we do? So we go safely detach this hard disk from Ec2 console. We go to MS1 data 1, so which is the hard disk we detach it. Means we said unmount from operating system console, and we say detach volume. Yes, detach. Data will be there. It's just like attaching hard disk to system, detaching hard disk from system. So now we go to RDP console back, and we see there is no disk one. because it's removed. If you want to attach it back, so do it from EC2 console. So MS data 1, so we can see the status is available. That means it's not attached to any instance. So we select MS1 data 1 and we say attach volume, and we select attach to our MS1 machine and attach. Yes. Okay, like you can connect hard disk to any machine, right? So just need to remove from that machine and you can go attach it to another machine. Snapshot will cover. And we see the disk one came, but it is offline, unmounted. So we bring it online. And we see data is there. Open D drive, so you have test or not.
Okay, so that data does not get lost if you detach and remove.
No, it's like think hard disk. So you remove one hard disk from one computer, you can attach back or attach to another machine. Your data will be there, right?
Okay. Another thing is we cannot attach other availability zone hard disk to the
No. Because EBS volumes are data center specific. As we created that hard disk in 1B, we can attach it to EC2 instance within same availability zone. We cannot attach it to another availability zone machine.
So, sorry, maybe you were covering it, but can we take a backup to another availability zone, or is it still in the same?
I will come to backup topic. Okay, so EBS volume backup. Okay, so how you take the backup? Okay, so let's say, for example, we have Windows machine, so we have multiple EBS volume attached. So we have application data or database something. So to manage backup, there are two methods. One is install your own backup tool inside the machine and use that backup tool to backup the data. Or you decide where to store the backup data. Okay, like on S3 storage, maybe on some file server like that. Or you can go with snapshot feature. That's a AWS, sorry, that is a backup solution provided by AWS for your EBS volume. Okay, you select the EBS volume and take the snapshot. So when you are taking snapshot, it's going to create backup copy. And each snapshot you create, it's stored in S3 storage. Okay, it's good to store your backup in S3 storage because S3 is going to write data to 3 data centers within region. So which is going to provide high availability and high durability. So anytime you want to restore the data, you can restore it. As you see, EBS volume exists within single data center, means within single agent. But S3, okay, when you are writing data to S3, it's going to write data to 3 availability zones within region. So that's why S3 is more available and durable than your EBS storage. Okay, so you can, it's good to store your backup data in S3 storage. So when you are taking EBS snapshot, it's going to store data in S3 storage. And what kind of backup is this one? It's incremental backup. Okay, so next backup you create, like subsequent snapshot will only store the delta in S3 storage. Means only changed blocks are stored in separate snapshot. Okay.
So for EBS, there is no full backup, right? It will be incremental only. It will not be
It's
taking
full backup and incremental backup as well.
Oh, in S3.
Yes.
Okay, that is EBS data, right?
Yeah. Okay. For example, let's say, let's consider this the time window. Okay, this is the time window going on. Let's say maybe this is the day 1, and this is the day 2, or this is day 3. So let's say you have a EBS volume 1. Let's say you have volume about 10 GB. Okay, let's say you have some data inside that. Let's say maybe you are going to take the snapshot, like snapshot A on day 1, snapshot B on day 2, snapshot C on day 3. Okay, when you are taking snapshot of that EBS volume 10 GB on day 1, so this snap is going to have whatever data exists in that particular snapshot. Okay, that day 2. Let's say you changed 4 GB data. From existing 10 GB data, you may be changed 4 GB data. Okay, so now this is the current state of your EBS volume. What you have 6 GB data, that's the old data, and 4 GB, that's modified data or new data. So when you are taking snapshot B, and means second snapshot, okay, it's not going to create full copy of the snapshot, full copy of EBS volume. Okay, see, this is the snapshot A, which is the old snapshot. Okay, it will be there, but next snapshot, which is going to be snapshot B, it's going to contain only changer content. See, it's going to hold only modified data, will be 4 GB. What about 10 GB? It's just referencing to previous snapshot. Okay, state 3. Let's say on day 3, okay, maybe on different times. So you may be added 2 GB more. You may be added 2 GB more data. Okay, so let's say you have 6 GB, the snapshot A, and 4 GB snapshot B, and new data, which is going to be 2 GB. Okay, so this is the current EBS volume state. You have 6 GB old data and 4 GB the day 2 data. On day 3, you added new data, which is 2 GB. So when you are going to create snapshot C, means third snapshot, it's going to hold only new thing, which is 2 GB data. And what about previous 6 GB and 4 GB? It's just referencing to previous snapshot. So it's referencing to snapshot A for the 6 GB data and referencing snapshot B for that 4 GB data. See, you have full backup copy. Okay, and each new backup is going to have incremental backup copy. And anyhow, deleting old snapshot can be optimized. Okay, so for example here, so what we have here, let's say the day 1 snapshot, we have total 10 GB, but on day 2 we have 4 GB modified from 10 GB, means you have 2 snapshot copy. Here you have 6 GB copy, and here you have 4 GB copy. Okay, this is the snapshot. Okay, let's say you want to delete snapshot A. So in snapshot A, we have totally right now, which is 6 GB content, and new snapshot is going to be 4 GB content. Let's say when we are going to delete this snapshot A. So when you are deleting old snapshot, it will automatically append that snapshot A content to next snapshot. So as of now,
Ramesh, can we configure the backup frequency like daily or weekly or monthly?
we can do that. Okay. So as of now, so as we have snapshot A, okay, as on day 2, we have 6 GB data, and snapshot B, we have 4 GB data. Okay, like if you create like new snapshot, next snapshot, what we have here, the snapshot C, okay, which is about new added data, which is about 2 GB. So this is 2 GB data. Okay, let's say you are deleting snapshot A. Before it deletes snapshot A, it's going to append the data to next snapshot. So where it will be 4 GB, that actual snapshot B, and it's going to also add the 6 GB data. Let's say we want to delete snapshot B, so it will append the data first. 4 GB plus 6 GB.
Append in the sense the data would be moved from B
Yes,
to C.
the data will be moved from current snapshot to next snapshot. So it's like full backup copy and incremental backup copy. So anytime you want to restore, you can restore the data. Yeah, it will be creating multiples. If you are, no, if you want to overwrite, you have to delete. Then you can delete existing snapshot, all snapshot, then you can create new snapshot. Okay, if you go select snapshot A, let's say you have snapshot A and snapshot B and snapshot C. So let's say you want to recover older content. Let's say you want to recover like day 1 content. So you can go to snapshot A and you can restore it. Now you want to recover like a day 2 content, you can go to snapshot B and you can recover. Only want to recover the day 3 content, so you can go to snapshot C and you can recover. Otherwise, what you can do, you can delete. Let's say you want to recover all, just delete all old snapshot, then go to your latest snapshot. It's going to hold snapshot C, snapshot B, and snapshot A, and to recover any, means all the things. Yes. when you are creating snapshot, you do it per EBS volume. Okay, you can create volumes from snapshot. So how you are going to restore data from snapshot? Just select your snapshot, create new EBS volume from it. Okay, so during this you can also change volume storage type. Okay, anyhow, you can change your volume type anytime. Like let's say we have MS1 data one disk, you can go to the actions and you can modify volume, and here you see you can select the volume, modify volume. There is some API error. Let me just refresh the browser. Okay, so you can change your EBS volume type as well, and you can also change the size. Okay, so you can do it on the fly, but when you are doing it on the fly, so there may be certain performance impact will be there. Because behind scene, okay, let's say maybe you are changing the EBS volume type from general purpose to SST. So behind scene, AWS may be moving your data from current category to another category. So that time it may make impact on your performance. So you can do modification, this kind of thing. So when you see your machines are idle. But what AWS says, you no need to detach this EBS volume before you apply any modification. So you can change EBS volume type on the fly. You can change the size on the fly. Okay. So what we do, let's create backup copy of our MS data one disk. Okay. So what we do, instead of installing some backup tool inside Windows Server, making backup and deciding where to store, instead of going with that, we go with EBS snapshot feature. So we go to MS1 data one disk, and what we say create snapshot. Okay, so give whatever the name you want. Let's say it's going to be MS1 data one snap one. Give whatever meaningful name you consider, and click on create snapshot and close it. And you can see your snapshot inside snapshots directory. So actually your snapshot means snapshot data stored in S3 storage. But when you go to S3 console, you don't see it there, but actually it's stored in S3 storage only. And we see the description here. If you want to give name tag, you can give here. Okay, now we have MS1 data one disk. The provisional capacity is about 50 GB. But how much data we have in that EBS volume right now? Just few kilobytes, right? I just created a simple file. And now coming to snapshot, when you look at the snapshot, it shows 50 GB. Is it actually consuming 50 GB S3 storage? Means no. It's consuming only actual data size, which is about few kilobytes. So here, when you configure like a 50 GB EBS volume, you'll be charged as per 50 GB. But when you go for your snapshot, it will be charged based on actual data size. It shows 50 GB, but it's not consuming 50 GB S3 storage. It's consuming based on that file size. That's it, 50 GB. Okay, now what we do, let's simulate the failure. What I do, I will go to that EC2 instance, I remove the hard disk, and from EC2 console, I detach the hard disk, and we delete the EBS one. And we assume we have lost the data. We lost EBS one. Then what we do, we can restore data from snapshots. Okay, now let's go to that RDP window. Let's bring it offline. And we go to the volumes, and we select MS1 data one disk, actions, and detach it. Okay, if there is something wrong, your operating system not responding properly, you can forcefully detach volume. So let's say detach volume. Okay, so it's detached. We can see the status is available. Let me delete it. So assume we lost the disk or we lost the data. So with the status is deleting. Gone. So we have no longer the data. So we go to our disk management console. So there is no disk. And we open System Explorer and we see no value, no file. So how we can restore? You go to the snapshot and you can restore it. So we navigate to snapshots, select the snapshot, and we say create volume from it. So click on create volume. You can specify a different storage class if you want. If you want to increase the size, you can increase the size, or you can specify whatever size you want. I will go with exact size, which is 50 GB. And I will select. So where I'm going to create this EBS volume inside our zone 1. So snapshots are region specific because S3 storage is region specific. Okay, then create volume. Based on how much data you have in the snapshot, that's going to take the time to create new EBS volume. So I don't have much content, it's not going to take much time.
So
Now,
the snapshot, if I want to create, I cannot encrypt it, right?
now encryption I will come later on. Yeah. So let's select it. Let's say MS1 data 1 hard disk. You can give the same name or you can give different name. So click on OK. Now what we do, let's attach to our Windows machine. So we say attach volume. We select MS1 and attach. It's done. So now let's go to our Windows machine. There is the disk. Just bring it online. There is a D drive. There is our text file. Okay, so similar procedure you follow, okay, to make snapshots of any EBS volume. Or let's say you want to create an entire system backup. Let's say maybe having multiple EBS volume attached to a Ec2 instance. You can create snapshot individually, or you can do it instance level. Like you select your instance and actions. What the options you have? You can create custom AMI. So while creating custom AMI, you can say what disk to include. You can say only include operating system disk, root disk, or you can include additional disk as well. See, whenever you say image, it just pointed to snapshot. It's snapshot only actually. Okay, so you can create volume from the snapshot. That is the procedure you follow to restore your data from snapshot. Okay, fast snapshot restore speeds up the process of creating volume from snapshot. So let's say your snapshot containing a lot of data. When you start restoring, okay, from snapshot means you start creating new EBS volume from the snapshot to restore the data. It's going to take the time. How much time? Based on how much data exists in snapshot. If you want to speed up the process, you can go with fast snapshot feature. You can go with fast snapshot restore, which is going to speed up the process of creating volume from the snapshot. So just need to enable it on your snapshot. Go to your snapshot. And actions, manage fast snapshot restore feature. Okay, this is the new feature added to the snapshot facility. So you just need to enable on which availability zone. Means when you want to apply this fast snapshot restore feature, when you are creating EBS volume in this availability zone, 1A or 1B or 1C. Okay.
So that means to say that the snapshot can be across all regions, right? Or the snapshot can be created across all availability zones.
Yes. No, it doesn't mean that one. So where is our snapshot right now stored? It's stored in Singapore region. Snapshot is not availability zone specific. When you are going to restore snapshot, means you create a new EBS volume from that snapshot, it's going to take the time based on the content of the snapshot. Now you want to create it quickly, you can go with fast restore option. So it's about, do you want to enable fast restore option on which availability zone? On 1A, 1B, 1C. Right now, whichever snapshot we have, that's region specific, Singapore region specific. From that snapshot, you can create EBS volume in any availability zone. I created in availability zone 1B because my Windows server running over there. I want to attach to 1B.
Sure.
Let's say maybe your machine Windows server running in availability zone 1A. You can create a new EBS volume from snapshot for this availability zone. Okay, you can copy snapshots to other regions. Okay, let's say you may want same kind of hard disk in another region. What you can do, you cannot move EBS volume. What you can do with the snapshot. You just go to snapshot, you can copy to other regions. Okay, like you have another backup copy data stored in another region. Like some our local region fails, no problem. Your snapshot still exists in another region. Even you can share the snapshots. Let's say you want to share your hard disk with some other account holders, means AWS account holders. We cannot move our EBS volumes. What you can do, you can depend on snapshot. You create snapshot from the EBS volume and you can share with other people.
So this is called this cross-region replication?
Yes, when you are copying snapshot to other regions, we can say it's like you are copying snapshot to other regions. Okay. But there is no method like automatic data replication will be there.
Okay, so that has to be initiated by the user, right?
Yes.
It will not be automatic. Okay.
Yeah, like say we have this snapshot which is in Singapore region. You can copy, just say copy and specify destination region. Let's say maybe you want to copy to Sydney region and copy. When you go to Sydney region and you go to snapshot directory, you can see this snapshot available over there.
Okay.
And you can share the snapshot. So we just need to modify the permission. We say modify permission and we provide the person 12-digit account number. Let's say I want to share with you. So I can provide you a 12-digit account number over here. So whenever you log in, you go to snapshot directory, you can see snapshot over there. Or you can share it publicly. Means it's available to everybody.
Everyone, yeah.
Where you can get those public snapshot, you can see it when you are creating volumes. Like you click on create volume. Let's say I want to create volume from a snapshot, which is public. You go to snapshot ID and you just need to type snapshot ID here. Or you can see here, these are some publicly shared snapshots.
So it will be directly available. This particular volume would be available as a snapshot also. Like
yes,
anybody can.
I don't know. Okay. You can, that means you can share snapshots publicly, but be careful when you are going with community MIS. Okay, community snapshots.
Sir, one query. So, how do we schedule it? So, just want to know if the means, suppose let me take an example. Suppose the image goes down and then automatically Snapchat comes up. Can we schedule those scenarios?
You mean snapshots?
Yes.
Yeah, you can configure something called as Lifecycle Manager here, which is going to automatically take the snapshot. What you need to do, you need to create a snapshot lifecycle policy. Let's say I want to automate like my MS data 1, data 2 hard disk backups automatically. So I can go create snapshot lifecycle policy. You can say like MS1 auto backups. You can say, you can plan per instance wise all volumes, or you can plan per volume basis. You just need to specify name tag. Like for example, let's go with instance. I go select the instance. So go with the tag key, which is name and which is MS1. So what is going to do? It's going to consider all the disk attached to MS1 machine. And when to do the schedule. You can specify here like every 2 hours, 3 hours, like 24 hours. You can specify when to do snapshot. Let's say at 23 hours. And how many count based on age or count. So let's say I go with count. Let's say I want to return 5 latest backup copies. Means you can have access only 5 days older backup copy. So next.
So here, normally when we want to do this lifecycle management, we can use the volume itself, right, sir?
No, you either you plan per volume basis. That means it's going to focus on the specific volume you specify, or you can say consider all EBS volume attached to particular instance. So I selected instance. That means right now how many EBS volume I have for the MS1? 3 volumes. It's going to make snapshot of those 3 volumes. Individual snapshot per EBS volume.
Okay, if I want to select volume, then it'll I can select the
Yeah.
The volume which I want to do, right?
Yeah. So we go with create policy. Okay, how many old backups you want to keep? Yeah.
And this backup is stored in S3.
Yes, snapshot always stored in S3 storage.
Okay. Okay.
Close. So we have policy which is MS1 auto backups. And it says the policy ID, description, when it's created, when it's modified. And we said, I said do backup midnight 23 hours. I said every 24 hours. And I said a maximum of 5 snapshots should be returned. Means how old snapshot you get? A snapshot which is last 5 days old. You can get latest snapshot or you can get 5 days old snapshot. But you will not get a snapshot which is older than 5 days. Okay, so whichever snapshot created that can be found in snapshot directory only. So as I said, manage automatically snapshot of the MS1 server. So it's going to create individual snapshot per EBS one. It will shows. When you look at the snapshot, you see the timestamp you can see. So now coming to encryption. So you can encrypt your EBS volumes and you can encrypt your snapshot. Okay, see, when we talk about encryption, we require keys, right? The digital keys, or key pair something to encrypt, decrypt the data. So if you want to encrypt your data, let's say in Windows Server, what you can do, you can go install like BitLocker or some kind of third-party encryption tool. You can encrypt the data. Or you can make use of AWS KMS keys. Okay, AWS runs a service called as KMS service, key management service, that can be used to generate the keys. And those keys can be used to encrypt, decrypt the data. So you can create your EBS volume as encrypted volumes. Okay, anyhow, when you are enabling encryption using KMS key, that's not going to impact any performance on EBS. Because whatever the encryption job is there, that will be carried at host level, means physical host level. Okay, using separate computing facility. It's not going to make use of processing provided by your Ec2 instance. So encryption does not make any impact on EBS volumes.
Yeah.
Performance.
So, Ramesh, here, sir, actually wanted to know like this EBS. Once we have the first, volume created, can we encrypt the first volume, or only the snapshot, or the second volume can only be?
No, any volume you can encrypt. Okay. But one thing here, once volume created, you cannot encrypt it. Okay, for example, let's say we have MS data 1, let's say we want to encrypt it. So when you go for modify volume, there is no option to enable encryption.
That's
you have to enable encryption when you are creating a EBS volume.
In the beginning itself.
Yes. So for example, when you are creating volume, let's say whatever the volume here, and you have option encrypt this volume. So you require the key. So you can go select a master key. This is the default key provided by AWS, free of cost. You can make use of this key. Otherwise, you can go to KMS service. You can generate your own key and you can use it to encrypt the data. Whatever the default key is provided here, it's free of cost. But if you go create your own keys, okay, so there will be separate cost for the keys.
Okay.
Okay, EBS encryption uses AWS key management service. So customer master keys when creating encrypted volumes and any snapshot created from the encrypted volumes. So EBS volume can be encrypted using either a default key, that customer managed key is created for you automatically, or you can go to KMS service, you can create your own key. What is the advantage of having your own key? So you can have flexibility, like ability to, you can create your key and time to time you change the key by rotating old key and using new keys. And you can also have access control, like who can use the key, like which user can use the key. And you can also add it, like who used that specific key associated with a specific user for encryption, decryption. And one more thing here, is it symmetric encryption or asymmetric encryption? In encryption methodology, there are two methods: symmetric, asymmetric. Symmetric means you use same key to encrypt, decrypt the data. Asymmetric means you use different key, like public key and private key. Public key for encryption, private key for decryption. So a KMS service is going to make use of symmetric encryption. Understand? Okay, so snapshots of encrypted volumes. Let's say you created snapshot from encrypted volumes, and volumes created from encrypted snapshots are automatically encrypted using the same volume encryption key. Snapshots created from non-encrypted EBS volume cannot encrypt it. Okay, but you can turn on encryption during a snapshot copy operation. For example, so we have snapshots here. Okay, this is the snapshot which is created from non-encrypted EBS volume. But okay, when you are trying to create a volume from that non-encrypted snapshot, why snapshot not encrypted? Because actually EBS volume not encrypted. And we see we have, oh, it's available.
Yeah, now we can, as this is a snapshot, we can encrypt.
Yes. What I am trying to do. I select create volume from
Create
snapshot.
volume. Yeah.
Oh, this feature is available. Let me update the document. Volumes created from non-encrypted snapshot or can be encrypted.
Yeah, but you mentioned, but you can turn on encryption during snapshot copy.
Yes. Snapshots created from non-encrypted. Oh, I mean snapshots created from non-encrypted EBS volume cannot encrypt.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, anyhow, volumes created from non-encrypted snapshot can be encrypted. Okay, this one what it says, snapshot created from non-encrypted EBS volume cannot encrypt, but you can turn on encryption during a snapshot copy operation.
Yeah.
Like let's say maybe you want to copy this non-encrypted snapshot. Okay, like go to actions when you say copy. So you can specify destination region as well. You can also specify encrypt the volume. Okay, so volumes created from volumes created from non-encrypted snapshot can be encrypted. You cannot change that key that is associated with an existing snapshot or volume which is encrypted. Let me go to EBS volume. Let's say create volume. Let's say it's about 10 GB. Let's say I want to encrypt the volume. And let's say I go with the default key. So that shows whichever the key. And click on create volume. So there we have volume. We select the volume and we see actions and modify volume. And we see no option to manage any keys over here. Okay, so you can associate different keys during a snapshot copy operation, can migrate data between encrypted and encrypted volumes. What you need to do, just let's say you have two EBS volume, one is encrypted, one is unencrypted. Let's say you connected those two EBS volume to a server. How you migrate data between encrypted, non-encrypted EBS volume, just copy the data from your operating system. One EBS volume to another EBS volume. Okay, you just need to select the key, that's it. You no need to manage the key for encryption, decryption later on. Like when you want to encrypt, decrypt. Whenever a specific authenticated user logins and accessing the EBS storage, okay, whatever the encryption, decryption job is there, right? It will happen transparently without making impact on your storage performance. Can enforce the encryption of the new EBS volume and snapshot copies that you create. You can turn on default encryption. Means anybody going to create any EBS volume or snapshot, those things will be automatically encrypted if you turn on enforcement. To do that, we go to dashboard, and here about account attributes, you have settings. You just say always encrypt new EBS volume and specify which key you are going to use. So I have right now only default key, so there it is. If you want to change the default key, you can change it. So any new storage created with an EC2 console, like EBS volume snapshot, will be encrypted automatically.
So you went to settings and then EBS, you have done that, right?
Yeah, you just go to dashboard, EC2 dashboard, under account attributes, settings. And you can say always encrypt new EBS volume. Okay. So it applies to local region because we are enabling this setting on this Singapore region.
Singapore, yeah. So is it applicable for others like RDS and all? RDS and others storage S3?
Yes, it will be applied. Okay, so like when you are restoring the data, okay, like when you are restoring the data. Okay, for example, here, the first case we see unencrypted snapshot. When you are creating a volume from the encrypted snapshot, you can encrypt it using your key. Okay, when you are restoring an encrypted volume, means you have unencrypted snapshot. Let's say you want to restore, you create volume. While creating volume, you can encrypt it using your choice of key. Like copy an encrypted snapshot. Let's say you have an encrypted snapshot in local region. Let's say I want to copy to another region. While copying the snapshot, you can specify the key to encrypt. And re-encrypt an encrypted volume. Okay, if you want to, let's say you already encrypted your data with a key A. Maybe you want to encrypt with key B. Okay, means you are going to replace the key A with key B for your backup. What do? You take your encrypted snapshot and you create new volume from the encrypted snapshot. While creating new volume, you can change the key. Like previously, the snapshot was encrypted using K. While you are creating a new volume from that snapshot, you can associate with key B. Means your new volume will be encrypted with key B. So this procedure you can follow if you want to change the key, encryption key for your EBS volume. Re-encrypt an encrypted snapshot. Okay, so let's say you have a snapshot A, which is encrypted with KA. Maybe you want to change the key. So what you can do, you can run copy snapshot feature. When you are copying the snapshot, so you can associate with key B. So this procedure you can follow, like when you want to change the key to encrypt your volume, or to change the key to encrypt your snapshot.
Ramesh, the first one I didn't understand, the restore unencrypted volume.
Let's say you have unencrypted snapshot. Okay, let's say you have EBS volume which is not encrypted. When you create a snapshot from that non-encrypted EBS volume, your snapshot also not encrypted. But when you are going to create new volume, but you want to make sure that new EBS volume will be encrypted, you can specify the key when you are creating a new EBS volume from non-encrypted snapshot. Got it?
Yeah, so that the final encrypted volume would be encrypted, right? I mean,
yes.
Final,
yeah. So let's say you have EBS volume, it's not encrypted, but you cannot associate key with that EBS volume because it's already created. You can associate key when you are creating EBS volume. So to encrypt EBS volume, you create snapshot and create new EBS volume from snapshot. While creating new EBS volume, you associate the key. Now you have encrypted EBS volume. You can just go delete your old EBS volume, which is not encrypted.
Okay, okay. So it is just restoring until we get the new volume. That particular volume would be there as it is. Once the new volume is created, then we will encrypt that.
Once new volume is created, you get encrypted volume, and you can go delete your old EBS volume, which is not encrypted.
Okay, okay.
Okay, coming to EBS performance tip. So you can make use of EBS optimized instances. Okay, EBS optimized instances, okay, provides a good performance for the storage. Okay, so actually, so here behind the scene thing is like this. Let's say this is your EC2 instance. Let's say MS1 machine running. Okay, so where is the storage of this EC2 instance? It's remote storage. If you go for network-based EC2 instance, you get couple of directly attached hard disk. When we talk about EBS volume, it actually a remote storage. So within the data center, so there will be a big storage pool. Let's say this is storage pool. Okay, which is petabytes of storage. Okay, that may be ISKC, whatever server managed by AWS. Okay, when you say a new EBS volume about 50 GB, your 50 GB portion will be created over here, and it's attached to your machine. I just go with pen. Okay, with that pen, handwriting is not good. Okay, so this is your EC2, and this is the storage pool. Let's say this is our MS1 EC2 instance, and this is the some storage pool that's managed by AWS. Okay, which is like a block-based storage, which will be usually petabytes of scale. When you say like you want 50 GB, so 50 GB will be provisioned from that storage pool, and it's attached to your machine. So attached to your machine. And now see your MS1 machine accessing storage remote, and your machine also having some NIC card, right? Network card. So that's used for other communication purpose. Means it want to access internet via internet gateway, or it want to access other regions, okay, via AWS private link somehow. So means MS1 is going to access storage which is remotely via some network, and it also want to access network, general network. So here we have two types of data flow. One is storage data flow between our MS1 and EBS storage pool, and we also have normal network related operation. All this data flow will take place via a shared infrastructure. Internal infrastructure within AWS environment. So your MS1 machine will access storage via this network, and also it access normal internet operations via another network. So this storage internal network connected to like ISP as well, internet service provider, which is local to the particular AWS data center. So within this internal infrastructure that's managed by AWS, so your MS1 handling two data flows. One is normal EBS related traffic, and another one is internet traffic. Understand? Means your EC2 instance will get only part a specific quantity, sorry, a specific share of that particular network, because you are the not only one who are running your machines in AWS cloud. There are other customers as well. Let's say the customer 2 machine, customer 3 machine. All these people will be making use of same network. for EBS data flow and for other network access. Okay, in this case, let's say, okay, so your MS1 machine will share the quota that's provided for these two networks. Okay, for example, let's say behind scene maybe AWS configured MS1 machine overall, let's say it can get only 500 megabytes per second bandwidth. Means your MS1 machine, okay, can share that 500 Mbps, like 250 Mbps for EBS storage, like read write, and 250 Mbps for normal network traffic. Means your quota will be shared. So you got to 500 Mbps quota. Let's assume maybe AWS configured like MS1 can use 500 Mbps quota only. Then you share that quota for storage access as well for internet access. Let's say, for example, lot of requests coming from network. Okay, so then maybe MS1 keep responding to those internet requests, and maybe not enough capacity available for storage access. At that time, your MS1 machine seems it's slowly accessing that storage for read-write operation. Okay, so to overcome with this issue, if you want to get good EBS access performance, you can go with instances which provides EBS optimizer facility. In that case, you get two quotas. For network access, separate quota, and okay, and for EBS access, separate quota. Again, now we do not specify the quota. We have to take whatever provided. So you can go with EBS optimized instances, which are designed to have separate quota. Okay, like a good performance for EBS. So when you are launching EC2 instance, you can see. So for example, you can go for instances, like launch instance. Select choice of AMI, and here we can see. Say when you are looking at EBS, storage EBS only. Now coming to EC2, we do not have any auto scaling for the storage. Okay, particularly for EC2 service. But you can define scripting, your own script server, which can do the job. Okay, but you can have storage, auto scaling for the storage in case if you go with AWS Manager Database Services. We see about that when we go to this topic. And we see instance storage, we see EBS only. But okay, so that means actual hard disk only. And we see EBS optimizer, it's not available over here. If you scroll down, and we see here, some instances comes with EBS optimizer. But anyhow, overall performance also depends on your instance type. When you go for EC2 instance types, we see if you go for some instance, we can see it. Like for example, look at computer optimized. For example, if you take C file launch, no matter how many hard disks you attach, you get only maximum 4,750 megabytes. Okay, this is our overall capacity. And coming to network, it's up to 10 Gbps. Like when you go for C5 9x launch, you get exact 9,500 megabytes per second, and you get exact 10 Gbps per second. So those things also need to consider when you are thinking about performance about your EC2 instance. There can be performance penalty when initializing volumes from snapshot, like when you are restoring your snapshot. Okay, at that time performance issue will be there. It may be slow because it need to completely finish the loading snapshot. But you can enable fast snapshot restore on that snapshot, which is going to immediately trigger overall performance availability and make use of latest operating system, so which provides faster performance even in case of particular read-write operation, and you can go with RAID 0 feature. Okay, I will explain this RAID 0. Okay, tomorrow session. Yes, no, right? Tomorrow Saturday, right? Monday session.
Ramesh, if we use enable fast snapshot, will that also give performance penalty?
No. When you enable this feature, so your restoring process will be faster.
Okay.
That's only the thing.
Okay, so there will not be any penalty, right? Performance
No,
penalty.
no, no. Usually, when you are initializing volume from snapshot, so there may be performance penalty because your EBS volume may be slow. Okay, to overcome with that performance penalty, you enable fast snapshot restore feature.
Okay, when you say performance penalty, does that mean cost also?
No,
Or
no. Performance penalty means here decrease like slow performance.
that's all right. Okay.
Yeah. So anyhow, let's have a look at the pricing. So just say AWS EBS pricing. So as we see here, free tier includes 30 GB storage, and pricing may slightly vary from region to region. So if you look at NV, North Virginia region, then we see general purpose SSD, they're charging 0.10 cents per GB data monthly. Provisional IOPS SSD, so they will charge storage plus provisional IOPS. Like per GB data, 0.125 cents monthly. And they also charge additional thing, which is 0.065 cents for provisional IOPS monthly. Because you are saying how much IOPS exactly you want. So that's why there are two pricing, storage pricing and IOPS pricing. For throughput optimizer, it's about 0.05 cents per GB monthly. And for cold hard disk drive, it's 0.025 cents. And coming to snapshot storage in S3 storage, per GB, they charge 0.05 cents monthly. Okay, but anyhow, when you enable fast snapshot restore feature, okay, so there is a charge about 0.75 cents per availability zone.
So that is a little higher compared to other service, right?
Yes, yes. So here they're not charging per GB thing here. Monthly, sorry, per hour basis they are charging.
Oh.
When you stop the instance, you may be not paying for instance. Okay, if it is not dedicated instance or not dedicated host, you will be not paying for. If it is not dedicated host, not dedicated instance, you will be not paying for the server when it is in stop mode. But if you attach, you have storage attached, you attach a public IP address, for there will be charge. Okay, fine. So let's go clean up the resource. Let's terminate this.
Right now, 1 year is still you can leave according to the limits.
Yeah, according to limit, you can use without any charge. Okay, when you delete EC2 instance, root volume will be automatically deleted, but whatever additional ABS volume is there, right, it will still there. You need to delete them manually.
Why you have to, if you want to download this,
No, is you want to download like you attached volume to EC2 instance, go to that EC2 instance login, you can copy data from there.
no, to offline, to our hard disk.
That's only. Let's say you attached MS data one disk to Windows server. You want to copy data to your local machine disk, log on to Windows machine, copy data from there to your local machine. Yes, RDP supports copy paste. You just say copy there and paste into your local machine. Or you access it using file share. If it is Windows, make use of SMB protocol. If it is Linux, make use of NFS protocol. Yeah, that's Oh, I didn't terminate. I did stop. Instance state terminate. You can delete all the base volume. EBS volume which do not have delete on termination, set it to will persist after that one. Let's say yes, terminate. This instance is terminated, and let's have a look at volumes. See, those additional hard disks still exist. So what we do, let me delete. Okay, so coming session, we close up this EBS topic by just explaining what is right or what is purpose of it in case AWS. Okay, then we start with the VPC topic.